My name is Kate Bedwell. I work for the Royal Foundation, and specifically I lead the financial task force within United for Wildlife. Today I'm here to talk to you about the IWT risk assessment that was developed in conjunction with a number of our members, including Standard Chartered Bank, Lloyds Banking Group, ABSA, Deloitte, Western Union and Ant Financial. The IWT risk assessment framework looks to identify the inherent and residual exposures within your organisation to help address the illegal wildlife trade.
In front of you, you will now see a copy of the IWT Anti-Money Laundering Risk Assessment Framework. This framework enables financial institutions to focus risk management, activity and controls on the areas of greatest risk and determine what further controls are required in order for the residual risk to fit within their own predetermined risk appetite. Be able to demonstrate by way of written documentation that the risk has been carefully considered and has been signed off by senior management within the organisation. The first tab, labelled Risks, supports financial institutions to consistently assess their risk exposure to the IWT based on key areas such as jurisdiction, products, and transaction flows. Moving to the right, we have the Controls tab, which provides the type of controls that an organisation can implement to reduce the risk to fall within the organisation's own predefined risk appetite. Examples of these types of controls are the risk assessment that you are currently considering completing, enhanced customer KYC, additional transaction monitoring. Continuing moving across the screen to the right, we move to the actual completion of the risk assessment process. From a practical perspective, and to simplify the process, we have adopted a two-stage approach. The initial tabs providing guidance on how to complete the risk assessment, followed by the framework documentation to be completed. The first stage is the pre-assessment process. The pre-assessment process has a number of simple questions which simply require a yes or no response based on facts. If any response is yes, then we strongly recommend that the full assessment is completed. If the answer is no, it is up to the financial institution's own risk appetite as to whether they continue with the full assessment. The second stage is the full assessment. There is comprehensive guidance on how to complete this stage within the tab labelled Full Assessment Process. The methodology adopted for the full assessment process leverages existing risk management frameworks and will enable financial institutions to access industry-wide best practice, knowledge, and experience through a standard set of questions and outcomes. The final tab contains the risk assessment and enables organisations to document and identify and assess the inherent risk exposure, assess the residual exposure after taking into account any controls that are in place, determine whether further additional controls are required to further reduce the residual risk so that the overall risk falls within the organisation's own predetermined risk appetite. For many organisations, this IWT AML risk assessment may just form a smaller part of the overall AML risk framework and programme. Either way, this assessment should be completed and signed off by the relevant senior stakeholders in accordance with your own organisation's policies and procedures.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. I really hope that you'll take back the risk framework and implement alongside your risk assessments in your organisation. This really helps us address the illegal wildlife trade on a global basis.